such a bad day. Chilly and getting chillier out there, David Aldrich. What is going on? You don't know what to wear.
Well, the cold front more or less moved through. We had a big drop in temperature today. Yesterday we're in the 70s. Today only the
family relationships.
Fox 29 News, on air and on the web. Log on to myfoxphilly.com.
The year-long Jubilee celebrating the bicentennial of the Archdiocese of Philadelphia comes to a close, and the timing couldn't be better for Catholics excited about the Pope's visit to our region this week. Thousands attend the closing Mass at Villanova's Pavilion. Cardinal Justin Regali commemorating the end of the year-long celebration, marking the 200th anniversary of the Philadelphia Archdiocese. Catholics from all over the five-county region and many from dioceses from as far away as Miami came to this special Mass happening at an extraordinary time for Catholics all over the country. The mummers on hand outside the service, dancing with parishioners who, like Cardinal Regali, are thrilled about the Pope's visit this week to Washington and New York.
It's a very exhilarating moment, a new moment, and very uplifting.
And Michaelini managed to get tickets to the Pope's Mass at Yankee Stadium.
Going up with my children on Sunday, and we're very excited. Never seen the Pope, so it'll be a big event for Catholics.
Sister Rebecca Harford says it's a special time for people who aren't Catholic, too.
And just to be with us, to celebrate and to give us hope. The theme is all about hope, and that's what we need so much. So we're excited.
We're convinced that his message will bring a lot of beautiful sentiments of understanding, of challenge, of hope and peace.
And Pope Benedict XVI arrives in Washington on Tuesday. Make sure you watch The Papal Visit, a live web special on myfoxphilly.com. It's tomorrow, April 14th from 7 p.m. to 7 p.m. till 8 p.m., 1 hour. You can chat about the Pope's visit to the United States, issues facing the Catholic Church, or ask questions of our experts.
A big welcome home today for a local soldier serving in Iraq. After several long hours in the air, Army Specialist Michael Alcorn arrived at Philadelphia International this afternoon. His family and friends could hardly wait for him to step off the plane.
I'm just happy to be home, happy to see my family, my friends. I want to go home and take a shower, that's what I want.
It's like waiting for a gift. It's waiting for a gift.
I'm a good gift, too.
Nice that he's home. Well, Alcorn isn't home for good, though. He'll be returning to Iraq in just a few days, but he will get the chance to celebrate his 21st birthday while he's back home. Well, now to a battle brewing in Washington. The latest Homeland Security initiative would permit the government to use weather and spy satellites for law enforcement.
Yeah, and Democrats are fuming over this, John. They are saying this is gross privacy and civil rights violations. Fox's Shannon Bream, I should say, explains it.
This new program has been a bit of a hard sell for the Bush administration and the Department of Homeland Security. After all the controversy surrounding the domestic surveillance wiretapping program, a number of Democrats in Congress have voiced numerous concerns about what will be the new National Applications Office. Satellites now used to monitor things like hurricane damage could soon be tapped into by law enforcement agencies. A prime example of how this might work is the D.C. area sniper case from back in October 2002. Homeland Security says the CIA and FBI were permitted to use images from the National Geospatial Intelligence agencies when trying to track down the snipers. Homeland Security Secretary Michael Chertoff is answering privacy concerns about the satellite monitoring by telling reporters, quote, "We've made it clear this is not going to be interception of communications, verbal or oral or written." But that's not cutting it for some Democrats. In a letter authored by Representatives Benny Thompson, Jane Harmon, and Christopher Carney, the Democrats wrote, quote, "Turning America's spy satellites on the homeland for domestic law enforcement purposes is no trivial matter. Although we support any department effort to engage in more effective and responsive information sharing with our nation's first preventers, the serious privacy and civil liberties issues that the NAO raises are manifold and multifaceted." Homeland Security officials say the NAO is in line with the Constitution and all other federal laws, and that it will be subject to robust legal scrutiny by a number of agencies. In Washington, Shannon Bream, Fox News.
President Jimmy Carter is visiting the Middle East, but he's not getting a very warm welcome in Israel. Carter visited today with the family of a missing IDF soldier, but Israeli leaders are shunning Carter for planning to meet with the head of Israel's arch-enemy, Hamas. Prime Minister Ehud Olmert says scheduling problems are keeping him from spending time with Carter. Olmert, however, did take time to meet with Prison Break star Wentworth Miller, who's also visiting the country. The Olympic torch catches a break in Tanzania. No protests as it passed through the African leg of the relay. 1,000 people lined the streets to welcome a team of 80 athletes. Protests over China's human rights record have plagued the relay in Paris, London, and here in the United States.
Scattered light rain moving through the area now, but it was a much different situation down in North Carolina yesterday afternoon. We take a look at this tornado damage. This was actually what's called an EF0. It's on the low end of a tornado scale, but it tore off the roof of a double-wide trailer. It pulled out trees and power poles from the ground, but thankfully no one was injured. As you can see, damage winds about 75 miles per hour. Let's take it to the Ultimate Doppler HD. Here are the showers that we're talking about here. Light rain, but with temperatures dropping, especially aloft. We could see a few icy pellets in some of these showers, but you can see Wilmington here, a little bit activity around Cumberland County, around Millville and Atlantic City at the moment. Expand the view, there's not much going on around Allentown, so this is drifting to the south. Let's talk about temperature. It's 50 right now in Philadelphia, much cooler in the northwest suburbs, but north wind at 9 miles per hour, dew points down to 31. Here's your Monday planner, upper 30s to get you started tomorrow. This will be the coldest morning in 10 days. 50 degrees by lunchtime with partly cloudy skies, and we'll finish the day for the drive home at 55. More on the warm-up when I come back, but let's get back to John and Joyce.
The faces behind the lunch line could soon disappear from schools in one local community, why their jobs could be on the cutting block.
I actually thought that my TV fell through the floor because it was such a loud boom.
Imagine having this come through the roof. An artillery shell crashes into a Jersey home. The family relives the ordeal coming up.
Lacing up their shoes to end gun violence, the event to raise awareness on the streets of Philadelphia.
You're watching Fox 29 News. For instant, up-to-the-minute information, log on to myfoxphilly.com.
Budget cuts could soon be coming to the lunch lines in some South Jersey schools, but the lunch ladies are cooking up a way to save their jobs. The grill's roaring, the playground's buzzing. And the mood here is noticeably upbeat. Not bad for a group of people whose jobs could vanish this week.
We knew that having a rally like this today might generate some support from the community that may not otherwise have known about us.
Tending to the grill and passing out hot dogs are Washington Township's lunch ladies. They've left the cafeteria this weekend to try to save their livelihoods.
And the state told our district that our department should be cut because we're not completely self-sufficient.
On Tuesday, the district will hold a vote. Taxpayers can axe the jobs or foot the bill to pay the lunch ladies $750,000 health insurance.
We really want the people in the township to understand the question that it has to pass by 60%.
Many local districts are seeing an influx of money from the state this year, but Washington Township says it's not. The lunch ladies here hope decades of experience can carry some weight when voters decide their fate.
We just really love our jobs and we want to keep them.
We're all trained in safety and sanitation. We're professionals. We're not just people that came in and decided to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
That vote is on Tuesday. If the lunch ladies don't get 60% of the vote, the district would have to hire a private company to serve lunch.
Young people strengthen their legs in their commitment to end gun violence at an event today at St. Joe's University. The second annual Legs Against Arms 5K race and peace festival attracted hundreds of kids out there. Organizers say the event is geared toward building partnerships with the hope of stopping gun violence among young people in Philadelphia.
It's about creating awareness that we're going to strengthen our legs as we oppose illegal handguns in Philadelphia. And we're acknowledging the positive, very positive aspects of today's youth.
The event is sponsored by a group called Physicians for Social Responsibility.
A teen's beating caught on tape. Now the accused face a judge in court.
5 years after a North Philadelphia man went missing, a plea for help from his family. The search for answers in tonight's Fox Unsolved.
Here's something unsettling for you. A heavy piece of military artillery comes crashing through the roof of a New Jersey home.
And it landed on the bed of a 10-year-old girl. She wasn't home at the time, but the family cat was hurt. Here's Fox's Cynthia Guava.
It made the loudest noise ever. The whole house shook.
I actually thought that my TV fell through the floor because it was such a loud boom.
Cheryl Angle says the terrifying noise came from her daughter's room.
I smelt metal. I could taste it. There was debris everywhere.
Through the smoldering smoke, Angle finally realized it was this piece of artillery shell from the Picatinny Arsenal base nearby that crashed through the roof of her Morris County home. Angle says the family's 14-year-old cat Sarah was the one who was sleeping right here on the bed when a piece of the artillery shell came crashing through their ceiling.
The piece hit her on the side of her face and got her in her eye, and it was not good.
The cat had to be euthanized. Angle says a half hour earlier, it could have been her 10-year-old daughter Cassandra who would have been hit by the 2-pound piece of shrapnel. The Angles thank God their little girl was out with a friend when the incident occurred.
This could have been a much more severe tragedy than what it is. My little girl could have been laying in the bed.
Officials from the Picatinny base say they were conducting a routine test operation when the piece of fragment broke off from a projectile similar to this one. They say the fragment traveled about 1.5 miles. They're investigating what went wrong and have suspended all firing range operations.
I can assure you that our Army will figure out what occurred and how we're going to fix it and make sure that it doesn't occur again.
If they're going to perform these kind of experiments, these kind of explosions, should be in a lessly populated area.
And that was Cynthia Guava reporting there. The Army has suspended outdoor weapons testing at the military site in Rockaway Township.
A sword was the weapon of choice for 2 men who police say used it to intimidate a woman and rob her home. Investigators say they were after prescription drugs when they pulled off the heist in Upper Makefield Township. Police say they found the drugs and the weapon in the suspect's car. Jonathan Hernandez-Pagan and Luis Amadeo were taken into custody. Police say the men used that sword to force the woman to take them to the home where they stole those drugs. Philadelphia police are looking for an 89-year-old man with Alzheimer's. They say Frederick Anderson was last seen Friday morning at his home in Germantown. Now, he has wandered off twice before, and police say he usually turns up in Camden.
Most of Philadelphia's missing persons cases are solved each year, but there are others that continue to stump investigators. In tonight's Fox Unsolved, Fox 29's Dave Schratweiser takes a look at the case of Euless King.
You always hear the first 24 hours after a person is discovered missing are the most critical. Sometimes days, weeks, even months go by before a case is solved. But eventually, some cases are solved. And that's what the family of Euless King is counting on.
His name is Euless King. He's a 29-year-old black male. He went missing in May of 2003.
Euless King was last seen by his mother nearly 5 years ago at her home in the 2700 block of Jefferson Street in North Philadelphia.
I believe he was kidnapped. I do believe he was kidnapped.
The Philadelphia Police Department's Missing Persons Unit is still actively working the case.
We run out of leads, which is why, we want people to come forward with whatever information that they have, whether they think is small or big.
King's mother says her son, who she called Bam, used to visit or call her every day. After he vanished, Linda King says she went to his apartment.
Everything was there. Wasn't nothing missing. Clothes was folded neatly in a drawer, bed made, apartment clean, jewelry there, his contact lenses there. It just didn't make sense.
Police found his car as well, but no clues.
He did have some association with drug dealers and the drug business. So whether he fall into someone on, bad terms in that aspect of his life, we really don't know.
King is about 5 feet 8 inches tall, 160 pounds, light complected. He has several tattoos on his arm and cataracts in his left eye.
I really don't think Bam disappeared on his own. I really think something really serious happened to him.
Even though it's been 5 years, police vow to keep looking.
So imagine somebody has a conscience and a heart. Please, don't let this thing keep going on another year.
Euless King has 2 children.
There's a $1,000 reward in this case for information about King's disappearance. If you have any information, you can call 911 or the Missing Persons Unit at 215-685-3257. You can remain anonymous. For Fox Unsolved, I'm Dave Stratweiser.
One person is killed and 3 others wounded in a quadruple shooting in West Philadelphia. Gunfire broke out just before 3 this morning at a home near 59th and Girard. Police found 4 people suffering with gunshot wounds. It's not clear who shot them. The 3 surviving victims are being treated at area hospitals.
A brutal beating caught on tape and then thrown up on the internet for the world to see. It happened to a Florida teenager, and as Fox's Gloria Gomez reports, a group of girls is now facing criminal charges.
For the girls involved in a videotape beating, this was their first taste of freedom in nearly a week. Brittany Hardcastle hid her face and kept quiet as she bonded out of jail. 16-year-old Kara Murphy also ignored reporter questions as she left the Polk County jail. Nearly all of the 8 teenagers are now out on bond. After they went before a judge on Friday, some girls appeared to be hiding a smile, while others were clearly upset. Even family members cried as the felony charges were read. Outside the courtroom, Brittany Hardcastle's mother offered support for her daughter.
She is a very good person, and she's my baby girl.
Mercedes Nichols's grandmother says she's still in shock by the video.
I'm overwhelmed that it was to that degree. You know, kids fight, but not like that.
The teens are getting out of jail, but not without a few conditions. They're not allowed to contact the victim or each other, can attend Mulberry High School, and no internet access, not even MySpace or YouTube. All 8 teens were arrested on Sunday and face kidnapping and battery charges for the videotape beating of a 16-year-old Mulberry girl. Stephen Shoemaker was said to be a lookout during the beating. The 18-year-old was being defended by his father, who says the real blame for his son's troubles lies squarely on an outspoken Sheriff Judd.
Grady Judd, our great sheriff, he made a mountain out of a molehill with all these trumped up charges with these kids. So if y'all saw the video, it was a one-on-one fight. It was no gang beating. It's all our sheriff trying to showboat is all it is.
That was Fox's Gloria Gomez reporting. Now, in another twist, employees of the Dr. Phil show posted bail for one of those teens. Producers were in the process of booking guests for a program about the case, but a spokesperson for the talk show host says staffers went beyond the show's guidelines. Dr. Phil is now dropping the segment.
Exercising while pregnant, how it may help the baby get in shape from conception.
Google's going to court, and it's their Street View program that's gotten them into legal hot water.
Exercise actually help the unborn baby by affecting blood flow, baby heart rate, even muscle tone. If you look at the study closely, the statistics are a bit strange, but it's hard to argue that a healthy mom isn't a good thing for baby. And finally, most people who eat too much salt develop high blood pressure, but there are a small percentage that don't. In fact, I have people in my practice who have surprisingly low pressure. Well, now a new report from Yale finds there is a rare genetic variation that allows certain people to eat large amounts of salt and not have high blood pressure. It's interesting research, and basically they're looking at DNA from people back to 1948 to come up with the finding. I'm Dr. Brian McDonough, Fox 29 News.
And Dr. Brian has more health talk on our website, myfoxphilly.com. There you can get the latest health news. Plus, you can ask him a question on his blog. Just click on the Health tab on our homepage.
A Western Pennsylvania couple is going after Google with a lawsuit. They claim the internet giant's Street View map invades their privacy. The couple lives on this privately owned road outside Pittsburgh. Now, they say someone from Google drove a car rigged with a camera past the no trespassing sign to take pictures of their home, something Google's done in a lot of cities. Those pictures then became a part of the Street View program. Their attorney says big companies need to know they can't disregard personal rights in their rush to roll out new technology.
Google's response is, whoops, sorry, every time there's some incident that comes up. This is all over the world. There is no whoops, sorry.
Google says the case has no merit, but it took down the images anyway. The company says it does that for any home or business owner who complains.
I'm seeing things that I did not expect to see.
News Making News, the museum that has moments from the past, present, and future in news.
And today was 16 degrees colder than yesterday. Let's take a look at the almanac. High of 58. If you were spoiled by 3 days in the 70s, be patient. Your time will come again. Stay with us. Your forecast is coming up.